Hello and welcome back to another on Wrestling and to another edition of Raw Out of 10. A special early episode of Raw this week due to it taking place in Europe and some big matches, including AJ Styles versus Gunther. We also have from the new Women's Tag Champs to kick off the show, as well as the World Champ CM Punk. But yeah, Raw opened with a recap of last week's show with the primary focus on the match between Punk and Breaker. After the obligatory shots of people arriving, Sky and Ripley made their way to the ring. The Eradicators said it a long road to the title, but they finally beat the Kabuki Warriors. Sky said Oscar and Sane have no respect, but she and Ripley respect each other, and that's why they won. Ripley said they were going to issue a challenge to any team, but before she could finish her sentence, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez came out to stake their claim at a title shot. It didn't take long for Bayley and Lyra to join the party. It's a pretty standard new champs have multiple people wanting a title shot segment. We've seen this kind of thing countless times. It's an easy way to create multiple paths. Oscar and Shane showed up and pulled the champs out of the ring before a huge brawl ensued. Sky and Ripley recovered and cleared the ring. A decent segment, but it didn't really make the challengers look like a big threat. It's always good to make your champions look strong. But yeah, kind of you also need to build a new feud with serious challenges, and it didn't really do that. Before we moved on to Javon Evans versus Bravo Americano with the other Americanos by his side. Evans took control early and used his agility to keep Bravo off balance. He hit a series of high-flying moves that had the crowd cheering. Rayo distracted the wrestler. Grande could hit a kick that allowed Bravo to take control. He hit a quick slam for a 2 count before trying to ground Evans in a headlock. The young OG turned things around with a dino over the top rope, followed by a running knee strike, and a few minutes later the OG cutter got in the win. A short match, but they managed to make it entertaining. Evans looked great, but he was forced to retreat when all three men started attacking him. It's hard for more to kind of have been done with the time limit they had, but you know, it was alright. 6 out of 10. Moving on into Adam Pearce, who was shown giving a Hall Heyman a warning for Breaker for if and when he arrived. After a break, the world champ came out to address the crowd following a successful defence against Braun. Punk talked about being on the road to WrestleMania and how anything can happen. He mentioned Cody Rhodes losing the world title as an example, but he said the plan's to be the champ forever and is moving past the vision. It looked like he was going to make the short promo, but Balor came out to interrupt before he could leave. He said he isn't waiting for the Rumble or Chamber. Punk said he's been waiting for Finn to take a shot, but he's been too busy playing video games and shining Morgan's shoes. He said that he wants to put the title on the line against Balor tonight, which got a huge pop. Balor said he wanted to wait when he's in his home country, and Punk agreed. This is a pretty straightforward segment, worked to its benefit. It's a match a lot of people want to see, and yeah, just taking a complicated route to get there. But you know, they did a good job creating hype quickly, and of course, added spice with it being in Balor's home country. We then got Kabuki Warriors versus Bayley and Lyra versus Roxanne and Liv for, of course, to determine the new #1 contenders. Oscar was first to tag out after a quick and back and forth segment, but the others quickly followed, so all three fresh partners were in the ring. Sane, Valkyrie and Perez had a much more physical exchange. It eventually spilled out the ring where Sane took it all over, women over the top with a huge dive. All six of the women are known for being good performers, so it came as no surprise they worked well to put on a fun match here. Sane was definitely a standout, both for her in-ring and charisma. Even when she wasn't the legal competitor, she was doing something to make the match more entertaining. All six women participated in several posts involving multiple competitors, but the action got away from the ref and had to remind Oscar that there was no tag when Sane tried to pin Morgan at one point. Other than that awkward segment, it's a solid performance for everyone involved. Morgan scored the win. By penning Sane with the Oblivion. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think quite an intriguing result. And yeah, like I say, a pretty fun match too. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Moving on then to Michael Cole, who introduced Raquel Rodriguez. He said he was surprised to see her stoop so low to attack an injured champ last week. Rodriguez says she's tired of waiting around and getting screwed out of the title. Vaquer showed up and security made Rodriguez leave, but she returned a few moments later and attacked the champ again. She slammed her injured leg into the concrete floor before finally leaving. A short segment that repeated the previous story. Having Rodriguez continue attack the champion is going well. We'll either see Raquel Rodriguez ended as champion or Vaquer look like a fighting champion. So yeah, we'll have to see which way they go. Before we got Bronson and Theory versus Lee and Penta. And yeah, of course, Heyman and Paul were in a corner. The smooth operator in Theory started for their teams with a quick lock-up. Penta taunted the young star by shutting across his back at one point, and he followed up with a face buster. Theory responded with a kick to the face, tagging in Reed. Lee then came in and Leech Stories used their speed to take control of the Ozilla with some double team offense. By the time they show cut to the break, Theory and Reed were back in control. Penta and Lee are both gifted performers. Reed's one of the best big men in WWE, and Theory's a young star who is yet to reach his full potential. So there was more than enough talent there to make this a good match. It may have followed a predictable pattern. By the way it was ended was surprising, as Lee was celebrating a ringside as a successful move. Breaker appeared out of nowhere to spear him out of his boots. Breaker and the Vision continued their assault Despite Pierce trying to tell them to stop, he got in Breaker's face and took everyone in division to hold him back from beating up the GM. Heyman tried to walk everyone down, but Pierce told them all to get out of the building. When the show returned, Pierce suspended Breaker indefinitely, and overall, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. An intriguing little story bit with Breaker. Obviously, it'll be intriguing to see where that goes, and yeah, quite a decent enough match up to that point too. Moving on then to AJ Styles versus Gunther in our main event. Styles obviously took the way Gunther bragged about retiring Cena personally, which led to this match. The crowd was singing as the match began. Styles put Gunther in the corner and delivered a stiff kick that sent the ring general to the floor to recover. The German fans were loud, but it wasn't always easy to tell what they were chanting. Gunther tried to out-wrestle Styles, but another kick to the thigh and a drop kick sent him out of the ring, which led to the Phenomenal One hitting a slingshot forearm over the top rope. It seemed like Styles had his number until one huge shot sent him crashing from the apron to the floor as the show went for a break. Styles tried to work over his leg and make him tap out with a calf crusher when the show was back, but Gunther managed to make it out of the bottom rope to force a full break. Unsurprisingly, these two veterans put on a great show. They were willing to sell at the big spots while also keeping a brisk pace that made both men look like tough competitors. This is a combination that could have been a great world title feud during Gunther's reign, but they only ever fought on house shows. Gunther broke out the calf crusher again by slamming Styles head into the mat several times, but the Phenomenal One knocked it in again. Styles thought Gunther tapped and released the hold, but the ref didn't see it. Gunther hit a low blow, which led to his back and in turn hit the powerbomb for the win. This way, this ended was a little confusing since the camera didn't show Gunther's tap, but we got a better angle once it was over. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a really good match. Obviously, these are open for the future, which isn't a bad thing at all. So yeah, pretty good stuff. Overall, Raw this week gets a 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah, a bit of a weird episode of Raw. I thought there were some good bits in there, like obviously the Styles Gunther main event really stood out to me, but there were also maybe stuff throughout the card that didn't make a whole lot of sense as well. So yeah, that kind of brings it down. And overall, yeah, I think 6 out of 10, kind of your average episode of Raw.
Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.